Hello friends! Today I will address a topic that interests many. There is a stereotype that model girls are only interested in wealthy individuals and fancy clothes, rather than love and normal relationships. Let's discuss this. After a very lengthy relationship with my boyfriend in Moscow, I was pursued by a wealthy and very generous man. He was like an ordinary, average guy, only rich, well-groomed, and cared for me like in a movie. Until one night I received a video on Telegram where my prince, in a state of drug intoxication, was giving head to another man. This image still haunts me. By the way, gentlemen, if you are watching this video, be more careful in choosing your friends. That moment abruptly shattered my rose-colored glasses and pointed to the harsh reality. Watch this video to the end to help me promote the channel, and you will get an answer to the question of why my husband isn't a millionaire. First, let me tell you how oligarchs generally find models. Let's start with the fact that most models begin their journey while still underage. Most of them come from poor families. There are those who are lucky, are almost immediately they start earning well from photo shoots, but they are few. These are usually high school students who haven't seen beautiful restaurants, haven't drunk experienced champagne, haven't traveled abroad, and have never held money in their hand at all. That's why in Asia, what models refer to as parties are thriving. There is also prevalent in Moscow. In general, what is it? It's a nice restaurant or club with free food and drinks where a man or a small group of men, through special manager unrelated to modeling agency, invites models. In addition, models receive cash immediately after such a gathering. Models are paid a certain amount just for being beautiful, dressed in their attire, and being in their company until a pre-agreed time. If we talk about Moscow, the prices for such in evening range from $100 to $500. I don't know about Asia, but such parties are arranged occasionally in Moscow. In Asia, they happen almost every day. I wanna clarify that no one forces the model if she doesn't want to. She can easily go home or be invited for a separate fee for further continuation. This is called extra, but here the model decides herself whatever she wants it or not. An offer for such continuation range from $2,000 and up to infinity. It's ultimately everyone's choice. No one forces her into anything. Most of the time these gatherings occur without any such offer. If A. Models behave normally, meaning they dance, smile, chat, but don't get excessively drunk. B. They don't aggressively adhere men. There are many who do. C. They don't consume any prohibited substances. In addition, wealthy men are often the owners of brands for which models work in the shooting, which after the show or shooting can invite the girls to a club or restaurant. Remember, girls are young, eager to have fun, and most importantly, very hungry. Here on stage come the millionaires, which dream of native girls who grow up on the fairy tale Cinderella. As I said, a decent evening ends when drugs appear. Usually it's either snow or salt. If they showed up at your party, your only solution is to run. At this moment, gallant, beautiful, delicious-smelling men turn into monsters that are allowed absolutely everything in this world. Sometimes such an evening ends in an orgy, sometimes ends with an overdose of young girl who is raped by these greeters. And the powerful, of course, always get away with it. Without the slightest remorse, the same thing happens next week, but with other underage girls, and if undersold, then with boys. Drug addiction among models is the work of these guys, who are the last ones interested in prostitutes. They want to breed inaccessible, clean, young, often virgins. At 15, 16, the girl is a naive child who gets drunk from a glass of champagne. She is just starting to live, and there is something going on in front of her that you don't often see in the porn movie. I want to add that a girl who tried hard drugs at the age of 60, 20 and left unearthly euphoria will no longer be able and will not want to get off. She has a direct path to treatment and not to continue the same lifestyle. If she lives in this format for a year, she will never see a normal life. I have a friend who was on snow for several years, and at 55, she no longer looks like a former model. She looks like an unhappy old woman. Unfortunately, yes, the model world of big money is inextricably linked with drugs, politicians, businessmen, socialites. Almost everyone uses them and clothed bodies. This is a modern scourge. I was lucky and I was always rushed off with a drunk girlfriend, but then one day when I was 19 years old at a perfectly normal party after filming, I saw a friend of mine sucking on a customer in public. Then it turned out that not for nothing, but for shoes. This is what poverty does to people, and most importantly, stupidity. From the age of 18, when I moved to Moscow, I received an inexplicable number of offers from wealthy men. It scared me a lot, considering that I was in a relationship with a young man at the time. I always said no to a proposal to go out to the nice restaurant with a millionaire. I'm wary of people who can afford everything. I can say that I have noticed in my interactions with such people. Most of them perverts. Simple sex is not enough for them anymore. They create wild things, starting from a group sex, ending with a knocking out his partner's teeth to achieve ecstasy. No, that's not why I have such beautiful teeth. In short, they are completely sick. These are ordinary men placed in permissive conditions. They can do whatever they want and nothing will happen to them for it. Unfortunately, almost everything in this world can be bought off. But there is one more but. Absolutely, and any women and any quantity are available for them. The most beautiful, the smartest, the ones who cook like chef from Michelin-starred restaurants and suck better than any porn actress. Again, considering that they are almost often deeply married and not on models, they often marry, oddly enough, either former escorts or grainees. Such men most often marry women who will not outshine their majesty and will not reveal the secret that their husband business to the financial crime investigator and continue to sleep with those who win beauty contests. Besides, this is form the worst of those wives. Their all-powerful husbands control them so much that they cannot even go to the toilet without being accompanied by security guards, or call a friend without wiretapping the phone. In general, their wives are hostage. By the way, write in the comments a story what you heard or observed involving millionaires that shocked you. It will be very useful for everyone to read. Wealthy men look as good as Henry Cavill on a red carpet 6 days a week. They are loving husbands and wonderful fathers, strict leaders and respected persons. But once a week, they are monsters who ruin the fates of teenage models, and what they do, according to the stories of the same prostitutes, is scary to imagine. If they were ordinary people, they would be put in a mental hospital or in prison, but no. I told you the worst possible scenario. This is a second option. You were well brought up, lived in a normal family, where you were loved and in which you were given strong principles. Even at the age of 16, you can say a firm no, not covet ephemeral rich and split in the face of that rich guy who is offering you to have fun for money. But there are such strong girls, and I have met them. They also worked as these parties because they also had no money, but they either left them ahead of time, or the man, respecting their firm no, avoided them. I would like to classify myself as the second type, but the devil on my left shoulder whispered, "Stay, look, all your friends are wearing expensive shoes. They all have Chanel bags and Cartier bracelet, and you are in some strange cheap clothes. Don't go home, look, this daddy is clearly in love with you." But I still left. Then those who remained proud and principled grew up to be beautiful, healthy, and mentally stable women. And that's when they received that very proposal from a handsome, pleasant, and very wealthy man, offering an allowance of $15,000 per month, not including the rent for an apartment in the center and regular gifts. And while living with your friends in a run-down place, you ask yourself if you are ready to be that kept woman. Are you ready to play it love for such money? Are you ready to be in second place after his wife and children? Are you ready to compromise your principles as a upright person for the sake of luxury and having sex twice a week with someone else's husband? Then there is the third possible scenario. You catch the eye of that millionaire who meets you while you are working at an economic forum booth, and after 6 months he proposes. For the first couple of years, he adores you, shower you with gifts, and you become a part of his family, respected by all his friends. But at some point, you turn into a living incubator. He pretends to put his soul into the family, and you accidentally catch him with some model he sponsored to win a beauty contest. 6 months later, you catch him with another, and this cycle never ends. Even though you have everything in the world, you remain unhappy. And there is the rarest fourth scenario. Their handsome and wealthy man falls in love with you, and you live happy ever after, soulmate to soulmate. This is the best case scenario, but unfortunately, I've never encountered it in my life. I have a successful, beautiful, and very talented friend who is only focused on finding a truly wealthy man. But for many years now, I've been hearing stories about a drug addict, an alcoholic, a married man, a crazy abuser, and a pervert. From these statistics, conclusions can already be drawn. I sincerely wish her happiness, but I'm convinced that if she limits her choices to those whose monthly income starts at $500,000, she won't be lucky anytime soon. If you remember, I reward myself with a Kinder chocolate. Unfortunately, I have just one. No, not for my hand. Now, I understand why my husband isn't a millionaire, right? No, we don't live in a shack. It probably wouldn't be fair to say that man's financial status is entirely unimportant to me. Even the most modest women with low self-esteem wants a successful man. It's an evolutionary trend, just like a female selects a strong male to ensure protection and the survival of offspring. 6 years ago, fate laughed at me. offering me a choice. Almost at the same time, I met my future husband, and let's call him Mr. Private Jet. On one side of the scale was a 30 years old sexy hunt, on the other an influential middle-aged businessman. With one, we tumbled in a hotel, unable to detach from each other, and with the other, we spent quiet evenings at places where it would be embarrassing to make a mistake picking up the wrong fork. At the time, I saw the first one as a just temporary hot lover, and the second one as a stable man ready for a serious relationship. One put me on a motorcycle, the other provided me with a driver. The first one didn't mention anything about the shared future. The second one talked about seeing me as his wife and was ready to provide his chosen one with everything she could ever wish for: any business, education, not to mention a car, apartment and trinkets. To be honest, I lean towards the second one. Who would you choose if you had such a choice? Write me in comments and please be honest. At that moment, the businessman persistently suggested celebrating the end of university with a joint trip to London, but I can say that I was very eager to go there. I was very attracted to his wealth, but I was not at all attracted to the fact that he was the same age as my parents and that I would eventually have to share a bed with him. Plus, I had my eye on the athlete who made my heart beat faster. The decision was made for me by an accident that happened a week before my graduation from the academy, and consequently the planned trip to London. My friends accidentally ran over my foot with her car. It was one of those cases where friendship makes you suffer. My ankle turned blue, swollen, and I couldn't put weight on it. In short, I contacted both of them. The athlete immediately dropped everything and rushed to my rescue. He took me to a good clinic, had an X-ray done, carried me from one doctor's office to another, taked to doctors and tried to comfort me with jokes, saying that I looked even more attractive when I was teary-eyed. Meanwhile, the owner of factories and steamships wished me a speedy recovery, told me to call his driver for help, and said we would fly once I recovered. The choice became obvious to me. Moreover, as a rather straightforward girl who doesn't care much for the rules of seduction, I asked my hunter a straightforward question. Do you have a temporary affair and I'm flying to London with someone else, or do you want a relationship with me? He was taken aback by my honesty and said he was in love and wanted a relationship. I didn't go to London, and a week later, what I told you at the beginning of this video happened. By the way, my husband and I have been inseparable since that moment to this day. It's been 6 years now. My husband is not a millionaire, yet he has done an amazing renovation in our apartment to make me feel happy in it. Helped to bring my family on vacation and replaced my car when it was no longer new. If for a millionaire this might be trifles equivalent to one fun Friday night with models, for the ordinary person it's a heroic feat deserving applause. My husband earned my affection and continues to do so for the past 6 years. He didn't throw gifts at me like businessmen who send a Cartier box and bouquet worth $500 to a girl in the outskirts of Moscow, although money would have been better, of course. Instead, he is fully involved in my life and my development. He cares about my emotional well-being and my health. Nika, when was the last time you had a checkup? I found a vascular doctor for you. I want you to see him. Sweetie, if you are not feeling well, leave your car in the city center and I'll call you a taxi. I don't want you to get into an accident. Nika, please don't ride your motorbike fast. I always worry about you. This is how he shows love and care. I know that I inspire him to do great things. He once told me that everything he has is thanks to me, because he wants to provide me with a good life and give me everything I desire. I fell in love with his attitude towards me. The fact that he puts me above his friend and fleeting whims. I won't receive videos of him intoxicated because he doesn't drink or use substances. He introduced me to a healthy lifestyle and made me love fitness. If he's not at home, he's either at work or at the gym. After work, he rushed home to me to enjoy showing me a good movie, spending quality time together, broadening our culture horizons. He introduced me to his friends as his beloved wife, and the fact that I have the perfect husband is already well known among my friends. He has created and continues to create cherished moments that are more precious than gold. He worked hard to take me to Paris and make the kind of proposal that most of the female population dreams about, if not all. He believed in our future and went above and beyond to ensure comfort and security for our family, so that in his arms I would feel confident about the future. He has surrounded me with care and love from the very first day and this day. He is my best friend, lover, brother, father, teacher, mentor, and the rock. And yes, he has flaws just like me. There are quite a few of them. Our opinions often don't align, and sometimes he can crack a joke that hits or miss, but he's the kind of husband that congratulations wish for their daughters. So why isn't my husband a millionaire? Well, whatever he's a millionaire or not doesn't matter at all. It's not about that. That's about having a relationship based on respect, love and honesty. It's about having a partner who values you. Princes aren't always oligarchs and vice versa. What's important is to objectively assess how your partner treats you and not chase after fleeting riches that might give you luxury items but are unlikely to make you truly happy. Like this video and you will definitely meet the love of your life.